questions. Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for today's very special birthday party, the Routefinder PLUS third birthday extravaganza. You can't see me. Is that what you're saying? Okay, I'm sorry. No one really wants to see me, Tony. I can tell you that right now. Anyway, we want to thank everybody for joining us today. We have a great lineup of speakers. These are clients who are going to share a little bit about their very unique stories. We literally have clients from coast to coast, California to Connecticut to Maine, Arizona, and they each have very unique pieces of how Plus has helped their operation. And so we're looking forward to hearing their stories, peppered in with Tony Civitella, our president and CEO, and Zach Moren, our sales engineer. We're going to give you some how far Plus, you had that little baby, and that first year they learn how to walk, and then that second year they're learning how to talk, and all those developments. Well, you're going to hear how Plus has grown up to the terrific threes. Is that what we're calling it, Tony?
So I love that. Love it.
This party that we have a lot to do. I'm not going to waste any more time here. We're going to kick it right off. I'm going to turn it over to Tony Civitella and Zach Moren. Guys, welcome.
Great. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for celebrating with us. This is truly a huge celebration for us. 3 years ago, right? Really on the date, we released Plus to the world, and we have some cool stats. We're going to talk about some Plus statistics on how many trips are in Plus environment. You ready for this? I have just given an update from just this morning. 2 million, almost 2 million. I think it's off like about 30,000. Almost 2 million trips right now are in the Plus environment. Significant. So we'll pepper some of these stats, but wow. Yeah, this is I think it's like, I'm going to say the dog years, right? 3 years, right? Like a 3-year-old dog is like 21, I guess, right? So I don't think it's 3 years. I feel like we've really, it's been, I'm going to say almost like 21 years instead of 3 years, but it's exciting. Zach and I are going to go through a lot of things with the products, of course. And then we're going to have a great conversations with clients here, and they all have great stories that they'll share, and we're just having some fun here. So let's do it. Zach, what do you think? You ready? By the way, Zach is in Austin. Yeah. He's telling me that there's massive storms, as you guys know. This year they're getting a lot of storms in that area. We got like a weird snowstorm in March, which is strange. But so Zach, we could see you, we could hear you, so everything's good. So let's make it happen.
I'll hang in there. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to start off today with Jason Hibbard. Jason is the TD at Shenango Forks, and he's got a great story to share about how Plus has helped his district. You know what's kind of cool about this, the panel that we have here, is that they are, many of them were early adopters, so they kind of had some of those growing pains with us. But Jason, how are you?
I'm great. How about you, Rick?
I'm good. Get a little closer to the mic if you don't mind. I'm a big loudmouth, so I don't have to people want me to get away from the mic. But tell me a little bit about your Plus experience, a little bit about your district and how it's worked for you.
Sure. Shenango Forks is a pretty rural district in upstate New York. We transport 1,400 students roughly. All in all, about 21 total routes. So compared to a pretty small district. I've only been in this position about 1.5 years, come from a way different background. So as I came in, we were still using Pro, trying to learn it. And then we went with the option of upgrading to Plus, which I kind of dropped Pro to the wayside, dove straight into Plus, was able to learn it pretty fast. I think we implemented full implementation a month to 2 months early. And it's been great. I came into a lot of messy data with our routes. Things didn't make sense. I'm a school district resident here myself, and I'm at the edge of the district, and why are 3 buses passing my house every day, morning and afternoon? It made absolutely no sense to me. So over the summer, we had everybody else dealing with the driver shortages and everything going on in this day and age. we had to redo a bunch of our routes. And Rick and I have talked at length about the fact that over less than a month this summer, I was able to dump pretty much all our routes, reroute them, set everything back up, and start the school year with a whole new routing. There's no way I could have done it in Pro. Just the ease of Plus. I tell people, you know, in pretty much less than a minute, I can reroute a new student. If student's transportation needs change, I can change it. Very simple, very quick. And now we've gone to Stop Finder. We're not at the point of having the geo alerts ready yet. We're still trying to work out the finances of being able to get the tablets and the active GPS. But just the parents being able to communicate with us through Stop Finder has been an absolute lifesaver.
That's awesome. I know you mentioned you like to. How many screens do you have up, Jason, at any given time?
I got 3 screens in front of me right now. I'm in a funny situation. There's actually 5 in front of me, 2 separate computers. My job is split between transportation and school safety. So I've got a big screen on the wall with another computer. I run the school cameras, kind of monitor that. If I have to pull bus video, I use the big one. But normal day-to-day business, I've got 3 in front of me. I really like the feature. Actually, it was at our NIAP conference. Vanessa, we were talking during the conference about, you know, ways to work things, and she showed me how you can duplicate your screen. So I have 2 screens of Routefinder alone. I put my map canvas on one screen, and on my right screen, I put a grid, data grids up. So if I need to adjust the student's data, look at the student's data, I've got it on one screen, and on the other, I do the routing.
Awesome. That's great. Well, thanks so much, Jason. I appreciate it. One of the things that was great, I thought that you also said, is there's things that you did in the summer rerouting in the summer that you said you never would have done in Pro, but you felt empowered to do with Plus.
Hey, I got to add, so Jason, I love that you're using multiple screen. Something that I always tell everybody, the tips. It's a browser product, so if you're in a browser, and by the way, this works on every website. If you're like an Amazon and you want to tap on something and you tap on a product, what it does is it takes in the same screen and clobbers it with that. Well, if you want to just hold the control and then the left mouse button, what it does, it creates another tab of that. That way you could have all that. Same thing with Plus. So it's control, left mouse click creates another tab. If you hold the shift button and the left mouse button, it creates a whole new browser window. Those are going to be something that you're going to probably never forget.
Awesome.
Just want to get that tip in there.
That's all. See, I told you there's going to be a lot of value adds today. Okay, can we advance to the next slide?
Rick, real fast, sorry. Tony just brought up another point that I happen to think about. The other lifesaver, especially with the new routes at the beginning of the school year with the elementary, I try to stand out there when the kids are getting on the bus. The fact that I could pull Routefinder up on my phone and I have Viewfinder open on my phone and student doesn't know which bus to get on, I can look it up real quick and it's right there in my hand. I don't have to carry a laptop or something around with me.
That's perfect. Perfect. All right. We're gonna move on. You guys, we're changing a little bit of the order of the testimonies because we had somebody that was at a conference and she really wanted to join us, but we had some technical difficulties, so kind of move things around. So Zach and Tony, I'm gonna turn it back over to you. You guys can go through some of your presentation on top routing benefits, and then we'll get back to the testimony. So stay put, and here we go.
Great, let's do this. So Zach, you put this together.
Just go down here.
Yeah. So if we're talking about our past year and Plus, right, one of the things we wanted to do was reach out and hear from our clients. So we sent a survey out the other week and we asked them, what are some of the top benefits that you're getting out of using Routefinder Plus? You know, we always want to hear back from our clients. These were the top 5 that we heard, and we're really excited about a lot of them. Increasing efficiency and optimization. We did the same poll last year, and that was #1 last year, and it's still #1. So that's the biggest benefit that we're hearing from our clients getting back from Plus. Our customized boundaries, we know that's a unique feature that sets Plus apart, being able to build safe walk to stop boundaries, right? Systems aren't mathematical. I can't just put a kid on a bus because they live X distance from that stop. Geocoding accuracy is another one that we always get called out on. Our map accuracy is really a piece that sets Routefinder Plus apart. and then automation, right? The ability to automate assigning students to trips. And to me, a lot of these combine together, right? Because I can create customizable boundaries, that's why I can trust the automation out of the system. So these are the big 5 that we heard back from our clients. And we always like bragging. We think our products are great, but it's nice when we can hear from our clients what they like about the software too.
That's great. Obviously, the customizable boundaries at a stop, it sounds like customizable, but it's really creating the safest possible stop. It's really that's what it is. You get to control exactly the shape. And I tell you, whenever we talk about that, their stop boundaries, our other friends would tell you guys saying that's a lot of work. Why you got to do that? And these guys' products. Well, I think all of you that have now used it, you could say, well, how can I tell the computer? How can I give it an artificial intelligence that I have to it without the boundaries? So I know, but yeah, that's one of my favorite for sure.
Let's take a look at next slide too. A second follow-up question we asked was, what are the biggest organizational benefits? And I love what Jason mentioned was being out at the bus yard, getting kids onto the bus and pulling it up on his phone. Numbers 1 and 5 for the organizational benefits is that easy access to data, right? Remote access to your information, real-time information you're sharing out with the district of student transportation information. But some other benefits here too are the custom reporting tools, right? The way Transfinder allows you to access your data with reports and dashboards and all these different tools makes it very easy to keep an eye on your organization as a whole. Customization's always been a big benefit of Plus, right? We allow you to customize so many aspects of it. But I love to see this one too. I think this is a new one for us this year, is better tools for subs and drivers, right? I know Wayfinder came up earlier. More districts getting Wayfinder in their hands, starting to bring tablets onto the bus, and they're seeing the benefits. And during the driver shortage, any benefit that you can bring to your drivers and subs on the bus is going to be a big help for the organization. Let's keep moving. Let's keep rolling. What we really wanted to highlight was what a great year we had for Plus, right? We had tons of new releases. One of our biggest releases we had just this past January that added a lot of new functionality. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. I think we've got a short video, so let's advance the next slide and take a look at the updates that we had with 3.1. I'm not hearing it, but there's some nice video audio that goes with this.
Yeah, there is some audio. Bridget, do you have audio going? Should I make some sound like woohoo?
Yeah, we'll live.
Well, actually,
I think
what's nice about it, we could talk over it, right? That's what we could do.
That's right.
So
we have gotten feedback that we turn people's offices into a little party when we've got the audio blasting.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's right. Tell us what we're seeing, Tony, Zach.
This video is on our community site. We encourage you to go take a look, but highlighted some of those big changes. Let's go through them. Our next slide touches on some of the big changes we saw, things like grid thematics, new mail merge features, routing updates. So we now show you students walk to stop distance right in the routing map. And we brought tons of additional information to the routing map. And we hear that feedback all the time. I need to visualize that information while I'm routing. How many stops do I have? How many students do I have? What's the distance to the stop? How far are kids walking to get onto the bus? And so we put all that information on our routing palette to really help you visualize what you need while you're building routes, while you're moving stops around. And so that's been a big change there. Grid thematics is such a cool functionality too, and we're starting to see a lot of use cases out of it. We now allow you to add thematics to your grid. So when you're looking at a grid of data, rather than a big boring Excel spreadsheet, I can click a button and say, hey, show me only my GPS events that were late today. Show me only my students that have an IEP requirement. Show me only my vehicles that have a wheelchair lift, and it'll light that grid up for you so that you can highlight that in a specific color or pieces like that. So grid thematics, we think, are really going to help people out with visualizing their data. Tony, anything else to add on that big update we just had?
I think that clearly the grids are exciting because it really adds color to seeing data, and I think data can become very boring, and it takes special people to really see data. But if we start adding colors, but color coding, like in other words, maybe you want to color kids in a way that they're incomplete routing. In other words, maybe you only have the morning and you don't have the afternoon. Wouldn't it be nice just to see them in there? So there's a lot of use cases. Obviously, the other big piece are the mail merge. I hope you are doing email messages to your parents. I know many of you still like to do those postcards. I don't know if some of you are on the call today, but I was there many years ago. Literally, I don't know if I licked the envelopes, but literally licked the envelopes or licked the stamp and put it on the postcards. There's a whole episode on Seinfeld on that. I don't even want to go there, but that's a funny one about licking the envelopes. But you don't need to do that anymore. Do email merges, and it's so powerful. Please get with either your account executive or your customer service rep and say, hey, show me a little bit how I could do this. To me, that's going to save you serious money on postage and keep communicating with parents. So tons of things. Those are my favorite. Obviously, anything routing. We're going to keep hearing from you. This is where the updates come right from our clients, what they want to see, improvement. One of them is obviously performance. We always want to make sure that the product runs as fast as possible. So a lot of cool things in there. All right, we go to the next one.
Take a look at the next slide. We'll see a look at what you could do with a grid thematic. Right? On the next screen, we're going to say, hey, here's all my GPS data. It looks great, but show me the stuff I care about. Who's running early? Who's running late? So that's an idea of what grid thematics can kind of do for you. If we jump to the next slide, a few more updates that we had in that recent release. Sent reports grid. Tony really expressed how important it is that our product plays a key role in being able to help you communicate with your district, right? Sent reports grids mean I can see who's received emails, who's been sent information. Lots of changes to forms that we have in there. You can actually attach a form to a mail merge document now. So if you want a parent to get a form, say, hey, fill this form out for your student, you can attach that right in there with mail merge. And I think this new feature, Tony, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to say about forms, because forms are usually, public, especially public forms. Parents fill out forms for just, public, and they either attach it to the school perhaps or the district. This is very specific. Now you could send a form directly connected to that student, and a parent gets it via their email. It's their student. So literally, you could create a form that you could show, this is what we have on your student, on your kid, with get an opportunity to update it or change. So now these forms are not just for the public that you could just express whatever you want. Now those are specifically tied to a student or for a staff member. So these forms have gone a whole nother level. And of course, the user-defined, we're pushing the envelope on to make it a completely different experience with data from one client to another. Talk about sent reports. I think we have a client of ours that, and I know, Zach, you worked hard with them, that I feel like they have like 1,000, because reports go out every morning, because over 1,000, because all the drivers are getting something specific. Zach, I know we don't have that much time, but tell us what would normally would take in someone to have that many emails or that many reports go out in a morning.
Yeah, so you're right. A big one is communicating with your drivers. So yeah, we have districts that their drivers are getting emails every morning because they may want information like, hey, are there changes to my routes? But they've started, once you start using scheduled reports, you find so many use cases for it. So now their operations teams gets emails every day. Their schools are getting emails every day. So it really starts to roll once you start using scheduled reports.
And Zach, actually good point. You could also schedule your email merge. In other words, you could have it triggered in a way that if you make some changes, automatically, at a certain time, send out these emails to these parents. So you could literally set, all that could be automated. So in other words, if you make some changes, you could set a variable, then at 5 p.m., parent gets an email. And by the way, you can only set it only for those that need that email. You don't have to blast an email to everybody. There's a lot of cool things in there. And again, it's to save time and do a better job communicating with your parents and your staff. Cool.
That's it. Before we move on, I just want to touch on a feature I think is so great that, is going to take some time for districts to really see the value of it. Case-based user-defined fields. This just opens up what you can see in a grid. So case-based user-defined fields allows me to really add a ton of data to my data grids by creating formulas and calculations. So for example, what you might want to see is you might want to see a list of all of your trips and how full is the vehicle as a percentage. So am I 60% of capacity? Am I only 20%? Show that to me right there in a grid, and a case-based UDF can do that calculation on the fly as I'm adding and moving students around. Another use case might be, well, how many students do I have that need certain equipment, maybe oxygen or wheelchair lift? It'll tell you in real time. Let's do a calculation. Let me show you each trip, how many student requirements we have like that. Let's go ahead and jump on to the next slide here so we keep moving a little bit. We've talked about forms a lot, but Tony, the reality is when we did this Plus release a year ago, we released a ton of new features. We were talking about Formfinder, we were talking about dashboards, we were talking about all these things, but we were really just rolling it out, and we didn't have a ton of use cases. And the past year, that's blown up for us because our clients are telling us what they want to use these tools for. And so we've seen Formfinder become a key part of a lot of districts' operations there. They're using it for things like driver certifications, pre and post trip inspections. They're doing bus conduct with it, where a driver can pull up a tablet or a phone, submit a form right there on the device, and it goes right into transportation. So they can get alerts, they can run reports, they can get reminders about these kind of things. And so Formfinder is really a fully customizable tool. If there's anything you're capturing on paperwork, we can take that and digitize it for you.
And Zach, I want to add one thing. There's various people on attending here today. We have clients that have Pro. Some do have Plus. I think majority of our clients now are in Plus, and we have some more stats. And of course, there's some clients, future clients around here. I want everyone to know that Formfinder comes with your package. You don't pay anything extra. This is all part of when you buy our system. So there's just so many use cases here. Again, it's growing and we're adding features. You could have a whole system around Formfinder. And again, we don't have that much time. We have a packed day here today, but I'm sure just get on those webinars. We do free webinars all the time on Formfinder and really communicating. So get on that. All right, let's go to next slide.
And this is just one more on Formfinder to wrap it out. Really, what clients love about it is it's easy to capture data, but it's so easy to export the data, right? You can get reports, you can get your dashboards. So if we keep going one more, we talked about how Forms has grown up this past year, but our next slide talks about dashboards here as well, right? This has been the same case. We released dashboards. We said, hey, it's customizable, build your own. It was almost overwhelming, the options that you could do with it. But our clients really told us, here's what I need to see. Here's what's important to me. Here's what I want to put up on a big TV screen. And now here we are a year later, Tony, and we have an entire dashboard library. So every one of our clients can go and download and use these dashboards.
And Zach, it started with the word dashboard because we want to see these cool gadgets, of course, and widgets. But really, I hope people see beyond dashboards. They could really see it could be a whole view. That you could have a certain view, look and feel of data. You could literally function inside a dashboard. You could have for dispatchers. So dashboards are amazing. I wanted you to think it's beyond just some gadgets, some charts. You could literally be in there and you be in a dispatch mode that you could make some variable changes, and all of a sudden data changes are in front of you. So I hope you see it beyond just some cool colors and stats. You could create a whole view that a dispatcher could be on that view all day long. So yeah, really cool stuff.
Anyone that looked at dashboards like a year ago and said, this is exciting, I don't know what to do with it, go take a look again. Take a look at the dashboard library. We've got ones for students, staff. We've got ones for planning for the new year, all of these pieces. So think we gotta keep moving to the next slide
Yes.
here. And
All
I
right,
think we
guys,
got
we got
a quiz
there's
time.
so much, guys. I mean, it is really hard to squeeze it all in. Quickly, here's now there's a way to just put in the questions section there your thoughts on these answers. We have 2 trivia questions. Want to see if who gets the most, who gets it right here. Every week, Transfinder holds a company-wide meeting. This is new. This is a COVID thing. So we started doing this when we went remote. And so we started doing these weekly meetings. They're very fun and upbeat. Sometimes they get a little teary-eyed when we talk about families or pets, or my baseball team. I get teary-eyed about that too. But anyway, so when do we hold these weekly meetings? Is it 6 a.m. in the morning on Mondays? Really get that. If you guys know Tony, he probably wouldn't be making that one. Would you, Tony? 6 a.m. in the morning?
No, I'm not a morning
Unless you're
person.
still up from the previous night, you might still be.
That's true. All right.
Number 2, it could be 4:40 p.m. on Fridays, 10 a.m. on Tuesdays, or hump day, that middle of the week, right smack in the middle. So lock in your answers right now. Guys, tell me what the results are. Anybody seeing any responses here?
Seeing a lot. D's coming in heavy. There's a lot of people that
Ds.
think it's a Wednesday noon.
Do we have anybody saying
a couple of
A?
C's
Any
dripping in
A's?
there.
How many A's are we getting? I mean, 6
I don't
a.m.
think I've seen an A yet.
No, I don't think so.
Nobody's serious, at least.
We all hated those morning classes in college, I think. Okay, let's move to the next slide.
Well, let's see what it is. What the answer is.
The answer is 4:40 p.m.
We'll tell you why. So you probably want to know why 440. Well, the building here at HQ is 440 State Street. So we've always used 440 as a special time. We have some of you that have been here in the office, we have this special place. It's a terrace upstairs here, and it overlooks the beautiful city. So we've always used the 4:40 p.m. as a meeting, as a time to get together. So we started this, and I tell you, I know we're running a little time. Talk about teary eye. When we first did this, I remember it was Mother's Day weekend, and it's coming up.
It is.
All right, it's coming up.
Get the tissues out.
And we have this product called Selfie Finders. Everyone put their pictures, and usually I get the Selfie Finder going. It's like about a minute, right? And then all of a sudden I start talking about some fun things, and I didn't expect it. All of a sudden you have these pictures with moms, and I did add a song, Bette Miller, Wind
Beneath My Wings.
and I put that there. Just have some fun. Wow, it was like so emotional that I'm ready now to start talking, and I couldn't talk. Like, I need a minute here. Like, it was so real that we didn't see each other, and all of a sudden now you're seeing people with their moms or their kids, and it's like, wow, it was so emotional. So yeah, we're tried, even though we're remote, we try our best to stay connected as much as possible. So good.
Very
So
good.
I want to just add that.
I think I'm glad you did, because there is a reason behind it. There's really a reason behind everything we do. All right, go on to the next slide. We're going to do some rapid fire here with our clients. And I want you to meet Steve Gardner. He's by the way, I don't know if I've really properly thanked all of our panelists. I just want to make sure I say that very clearly. I thank each and every one of you. You spent a lot of time on this, and I'm super grateful. We all are very grateful for your time. So if I didn't say that, I want to make sure I say that multiple times. Steve, you have a massive responsibility, and you all do. 30 plus school districts, 26,000 students, all very unique nuances with every district. We had a very lengthy conversation about your story. Tell me a little bit about your Plus story and how it's helped you.
So back in 2012, we purchased Pro from Transfinder, and we implemented it in 16 out of our 18 locations. And I think it's a great software. We used it well. I think the disadvantage was that it was very hard for our everyday users to get comfortable using the software. So when we decided last year to go to Plus, I'm sorry. And I think, besides all the bells and whistles that Plus offers, I think the advantage that we've come across is that the software is so much easier to use that our everyday users can now actually use it and not call support or call our in-house routing department. They feel comfortable using the software on a daily basis. And it also allowed us to get 16 out of our 18 offices on Plus within probably 6 months. And our original plan was a year. So kudos to Transfinder for a great product.
That's awesome. I remember, you know, if it's intimidating, you're going to avoid it, right? And so it's great to hear how many people just embraced it and had their comfort level, you know, increased with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, one of the things you said, you know, we talked and you gave me a little write-up, and you even said, you know, it's given our company a greater level of expertise with our managers and dispatchers, more accurate information, and the ability to free up our routing specialists from performing day-to-day maintenance on the software. That's rich stuff.
So there's a couple of questions I know by the way, please get these questions coming. A couple of questions, maybe there's a little time because we're talking about sending emails. Someone asked, what about sending text messages to parents? Definitely is on our plan. We've been doing some research and it's extremely expensive. So there is a cost per text. I can't believe it, right? So we've looked at how we could keep it not insane, but I didn't realize, and by the way, Twitter, turn off multi-factor authentication using text messages because Elon realized it's expensive. So I just want to, you know, text messages, it's cool, just very expensive. We have to figure out how we could even like let you know the cost per text. So that's, so I
Very
just want to
good.
let you know that.
Thanks, Tony. All right. Well, thank you so much, Steve. We're going to move on to Kerry, Dr. Kerry Duskin. He's with Roosevelt Elementary School in Arizona. Kerry, how are you? I can't hear you.
All right. Good morning.
There
Had to
you
turn
go.
the mic
Yes, we
on.
can hear you.
So tell me a little bit about your Plus story.
Well, we started similar to Steve. We started with Pro back in 2007. When I first came to the district, they had no routing software at all, and we started out with Pro. And a couple years down the road, I want to say about 2 years ago, maybe. My salesman called and had a conversation, and he was like, we got this new program that we think you'll be interested in. Showed me Plus, and I said, how fast can I have it? You know, I'm like, I love it. It was a whole lot easier to maneuver, especially with my staff, because my dispatchers are my routers, you know, so they are constantly in it. And the transition of being able to go from Pro to Plus has been a very easy transition, especially when I have one of my staff members who is not very knowledgeable with computers, but picked up on Plus very quickly. So it's a game changer for us. It's definitely a game changer. And then being able to do multiple things at one time, versus being in Pro where we can only work on one thing at one specific moment, but being able to do multiple things now at the same time, and have, as Tony mentioned earlier, have different tabs open to be able to just switch from tab to tab and get what you need done quicker. Game changer, like Jason, I think I can route a kid probably in a minute and a half, you know, as long as the kid is in my system correctly. Geocoding and routing that kid to that bus, it's like speed.
That's awesome.
Train fast.
Do you remember those days you actually had to tell parents, yeah, we'll let you know what bus they're on within 72 hours? And I'm not saying you should change that policy. Still keep the 72 hours in there, keep us parents sweating, but clearly it doesn't take 72 hours anymore, right, Dr. Duskin?
Yes,
Well,
absolutely.
he mentioned something about like what taking in a Pro universe, you would take a picture, so you would have to remember everything and then go back into the new.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So you
Yeah.
learned all these tricks. So that's great. Well, thank you so much, Carrie. I appreciate that. We're going to move on to Alyssa, way up in Maine. How are you doing, Alyssa?
We're living the dream. We actually look
love it.
kind of like it might get sunny today, so we'll take it.
That's awesome. And I you have the very unique role because you have nutrition added to your title as well. Most people have, they may have maintenance or you may see security, but you've got nutrition and transportation.
Absolutely. So we're pretty much doing your logistics for the day, like getting the kids to school, getting them fed, and getting them home. And there are a lot of carryovers and things that we find are happening there, which is really great. I was an original pro user though in Transfinder, and I was handed, I would say, like the desk toy of the century, which was that trifold, like how to do the little icons. And I remember when I got shown the Plus environment, and I was like, wait, what? It's so much more intuitive. Like I don't need a decoder ring. That was a game changer for me right then and there. I would love to say we were like the most organized going into this, but we were that district that I can find a map somewhere in my office that has Sharpie marks on it. We were about to that level at one point. And we have city streets, one ways, we don't go down this way. It was just like a whole lot of stuff going on. So for me, I mean, having the ability to run the software, I've been handed a calendar with 30 different days of transportation requirements, and the system handles it all. Like that alone is pretty impressive to be able to like not save that piece of paper on a bulletin board, but be like, no, it's in the system and the report prints out, it's done. Yeah, no, I am thrilled to see it actually working, and we are definitely looking at like the Formfinders, the bus discipline. Oh man, our system's very antiquated. I've had the bus drivers ask about it. I mean, at one point I was concerned. I asked one of my trainers, I'm like, what's the oldest bus driver you've ever trained that had no technology experience? I'm like, I still got people with flip phones. And it's amazing. I mean, when you can say that you have someone in their 80s embracing this technology from a driver's standpoint, then you know you have a good system that's working for people. Yeah, no, I have nothing but good news. I'm one of those screen people. I have 4 screens in front of me right now, and I have a very large screen coming because I do have it hooked up to the GPS as well. And that's also great. I mean, everything in one place. I don't have to just open up Google. Like I have that accessibility for mapping and things like that. I mean, that is incredible to have it all in one spot that I can use on my phone. It's great.
You also mentioned, we talked a little bit yesterday about being able to have, like, you have pictures of students. So if there's a driver, tell a little bit about that aspect.
Yeah, no, so I'm sure other people on the call have the same thing, but we have those students that don't like to disclose their who they are when they're in trouble. And then those kids around them also are quiet because they don't want to be the ones that tell on their friends. And so we have definitely connected the interface with our student information system, and therefore we can put our pictures in there. And it really helps when, like yesterday, I shouldn't say this, but just yesterday, I had we need to get this kid a different transportation plan. And we were having trouble identifying them, and having that access at my fingertips was really great. And knowing that, yes, as a district employee, I could access the school system, but not all the bus company people have that. So giving them an added tool that's helpful. We also, I should say, parents are sometimes forgetful on early release Wednesdays to pick up their young cherubs at the bus stop. And we also have the ability to, the bus drivers have this contact information. They know the parents, they're already interacting with them. And so it's really great to know that they are willing to go that step, but have the ability to self-serve. They're wanting to do that as well, too. So they have the ability, if your district allows it, to, reach out and be like, hey, mom, I need you to come get your kid at the bus stop. So no, it's been really, really good. I also, the mapping feature is great. It's just very easy to remove a stop, change a boundary. You look at it and you're like, oh, that kid's right outside the boundary. It's not a big deal. You just lasso them in. And it's just like a really quick, add them in there, getting your stop parameters. It's very intuitive. So I love all those features.
That's awesome.
That's
Thank you.
great.
You had a great quote yesterday. You talked about like that I can quantify what we actually need. It makes you realize how many buses you use, gives you a really good bird's eye view of your overall operation. so that when you are asking for money, you can really put a dollar amount on things.
Absolutely.
So-
I mean, I can justify why, you know, are we deadheading miles? Are we not? 385 routes. I can actually say how much it's costing us. It's really great.
Well, listen, you're talking about how you want to let parents notify them when you're just about to reach their house and so forth. Just want to give you some statistics, some factoids here. Stopfinder is our parent app that uses alerts that a parent could be notified when we're 10 minutes away or so forth. In March alone, just March, we've sent out 3,236,000 messages to parents just in March saying, "Get ready, bus is coming." Either they're picking, get those shoes on because it's 5 minutes away, or hey, get ready, go pick up your kid, dropping them
I
off.
definitely wish we had
So
that
that's
when
a
I was.
big number, right?
I wish
That's a
we had.
significant number. So we reached the 3.2 million messages in March, which is, by the way, wasn't there like a break in there? I think clients in Texas had a whole week off too because it was their spring break. So it could have been even bigger. All right.
That's
why I
very
give
good.
some
No, that's
facts
great.
there.
I really wish we had that when I was a kid because I missed the bus more times than I care to admit. Anyway, I want to give a couple of things. We have a few people on our who are on a panel who talked about upgrading from Pro to Plus. So here's a stat that I wanted to share with you. So right now we have okay to say how many clients we have,
Yeah.
Tony? I guess I should have clarified this before we go live on this, but
Oh, this is good.
career guidance there for you guys. Check things with your boss before you say things publicly. 1,365 total plus clients. 911 of them were made that move from Pro to Plus. And then 454 just jumped right into Plus. So they never had to hear some of the ailments that you guys are talking about with Pro. Those who are on the call right now are going, I don't know what you're talking about because I went right to
Right.
Plus.
Well, that means since we released the product, I just want to know what that means for anyone. Since we released in 3 years, we've added 454 brand new clients to the Transfinder family. That's what that means. So we're with around 2,300 clients, and again, 454 are
That's
brand
roughly what?
new.
How many per students in
I think
America?
it's like I think the number's around 1 out of 3.5 student got on a bus because of our software. Really, I can't say because of our software, because of you out there. So thank you
That's
so
true.
much.
I like that.
So yeah, good stats.
Question
Rick,
number
before
2.
you do the
I'm
next
sorry?
quiz time, just got to shout out Janine Mason, one of the only ones to get quiz number 1 right. So Janine and I worked together way back in 2020. She must have heard all my positive feedback about my 440 meetings with Tony.
Oh, very
Uh,
good. Very good. All right. This is more of a product info type of question here. Formfinder and Chatfinder are included free in what Transfinder solution? Is it Viewfinder, Service Finder? You're going to be hearing a lot about Service Finder in the coming weeks, coming days, really. C, Routefinder Plus, or D, Trip Finder. Lock in those answers. Okay. Is it next slide, please? The answer is Tony.
I think everyone's got it right.
That would kind of be a gimme since it is
No,
the
that-
Plus
I think
birthday.
everybody got it right.
So,
All right.
I'm going to turn it back over to Tony and Zach, and you guys can give us some more highlights here on what's changed and what's coming.
Well, we talked a little bit already about how the past year went. We want to talk about the future and wrap this webinar up on bright things to come. So we've got another release that's going to be coming soon for Plus, and again, we just keep bringing new functionality based on the feedback that we hear from our clients. One that I'm really excited about, we'll watch a quick video, is on the map viewer. Again, we hear all the time, I want to be able to visualize my information. I want to be able to see it while I'm routing. Map viewer is going to bring tons of new content that you can open on the map while you're routing. But some new features we're going to have in there too are GPS geo regions. So they're great for letting you know when a vehicle passes by a certain region. We do this for parents with Stopfinder. Now we're going to let you be able to do it within Plus so that you can get an alert saying, hey, all your vehicles have left your bus yard geo region, or hey, they've all returned at the end of the day back to that geo region. You can set up custom areas to get those alerts.
Zach, one thing I want to add about that is that a lot of our clients want to notify the principals, right? The principals saying that especially the multi-tier routing, you want the principal to be notified. All right, they just left that school, so now get ready to get these kids out the door and get them boarded on a bus. And as you know, especially going home, that's when, you know, kids will hang out with their boyfriends and girlfriends and their friends, and they linger, and it makes everything late. And so this is another reason to say, principals or assistant principals, get these kids ready to get on a bus. And again, it's communication. So yeah, these geo-regional alerts are very powerful.
One last feature in here is a feature we're calling right now event logging. But really, it's just another functionality for what can I do with forms. Sometimes I just want to keep a historical record on my data. Maybe I want to keep an interaction of every time a parent's called in about their student. Or maybe I want to keep a record of every time my driver's gone in for training or certification. I can keep a historical event log right there on their data record, and I just click a little add button and I can keep that history on it. This is so much more useful than just having a static field for data that gets overwritten or wiped out. This allows me to keep a log or a history of the events on these data records.
There's just so many of those things. Really, there's so many use cases for this. We talked about when parents call, or just even an incident, just have a little place there. You put in, and you could even have a flow there to saying that, you know, parent calls as a complaint and that you document it. Well, then maybe there's a follow-up. There's a follow-up with that, and maybe you get their emails, and then you say, all right, I did follow up. So you could literally have a whole chain. Again, it's fully user-defined. Again, you're not doing this by yourself. It's what we're here for. We help you make this be very custom to you. We know it. Clients have different needs. Geographic regions have different needs. So this is where unlimited, and we're making this really. That was one of our dreams, that you literally could go from one client site to another, and you're like, wow, you're using Plus. Yours looks so different. Well, because they have customized it to be really specific for their needs, and that is tough for us supporting. I have to be honest with you. That's always been like, wow, how do we support clients that have our product but have a different user interface? So watch, it's user interface for us. We know that it's all in there, and you know, this is what we trained our own team members as much as possible. It does get tough because from one site to another, you could change your colors. I mean, the fonts really very, very different, but it has to work from the small compact size school district to the very large one. So that's what we did. So
I see Anthony in the comments really excited about the event logging. He says he keeps a Google form right now to keep track of things like driver training. So hopefully we can make that process a little bit better. Let's go to the next slide. We got a video here on the map viewer. And I think we'll have no audio again, which is okay, because I could just talk about the map viewer a little bit more, right? Our clients say they want to be able to see more information while they're routing. What the map viewer is going to do is allow you to see anything you want while you're routing. Bring in school boundaries, overlay your school boundaries while you route. So it's something
that's one of the features. So one of the features that Pro had, that it was cosmetic layer, that you could add as many things you want while you're doing things. So, and it was just one and done, and it was it, and you could clear it. The map viewer is beyond that. You could literally create a workspace, save it, and then you could set it up however you want it. Then just bring up that workspace, and it just does it. As you can see here, there's offenders. He's even adding a layer that's an Esri layer that you could just show all the flood. You could put in the weather. These are all, and you save it, and then it's set it and forget it. Then you have to just open up that workspace. So this is, again, it's a new feature. I can't wait to see how our clients are going to use this in the next 6 to 12 months. It's a massive feature.
But you could see, you could just keep adding more information. Schools, my students with disability needs. And it's more than just a cosmetic layer, because here I can turn on things like, give me the labels for these students, change the transparency, and then turn these layers on and off. Like you said, Tony, I could save this. If this is information I want to see every time I route, I'll save this as my daily map view. And every time I open any map in the system, say, hey, open that daily map view. I want to see my school boundaries. I want to see my schools. I want to see those flood zones or weather traffic. And you can have it in any map within the system there. Really, really powerful tool.
It's a very powerful tool, and I think expect to even add more feature in the coming days here in months with this. I know it. We're gonna get so much feedback. The feedback was, I want to be able to overlay other data, and I think we nailed it. And I can't wait to get your feedback, especially for those that have requested something like this. But I think they're gonna be like, wow, I didn't expect it to be this awesome. So we'll see, right?
I've got some clients in mind. I know are going to be really excited. GPS zones. I think we talked about the use case there, but I'm excited for people to, really set these up and find different use cases for this, right? Getting those alerts as a vehicle enters or exits whatever zones. We know parents love it. We know that schools are going to love having this information too. So you can set up those alert zones wherever you need it, whether it's at a school's location, whether it's at your bus yard, whether it's at the diner that your drivers are always clocking in and driving over for brunch there. Set up the alert zone, get notified when the vehicle heads over there.
And by the way, as these vehicles driving along, I have some other factoid here about number of miles. If you add up all the trips in the Plus environment, we have over 29 million. 29 million miles are right now in all of our clients' systems. So if you look add up all the point, from stop 1 to stop 2 and so forth, all of our clients, if you add up all of them, again, there's almost 2 million trips, 29 million miles. Is that? I mean, we talked about this. How far is Mars, right? I mean, is that? Maybe we could ask that, right? I mean, how many times to Mars, right?
That's a good one.
Right?
I don't have it offhand, Tony. I don't have my.
I'm gonna ask ChatGPT.
ChatGPT will tell us. All right, I think we got a couple videos to kind of wrap it up with. Chatfinder is a product we released last year. We're still so excited about it. We'd love for our clients to really get in there and make Chatfinder part of their everyday operation as well. I think on our next slide, we get a quick 1-minute video that just highlights some of the cool stuff you can do with Chatfinder. So again, this is available.
141 million miles, by the way. So that's definitely, we're not there yet.
That's it. We're getting close.
Yeah.
So Chatfinder is going to be available for free, included with Plus. You can get any of your users logged in here and using this. So Viewfinder users, StopFinder admin users, Plus users. And you can see I can do group chats. I can drop in documents. This feature is great though. I can share links with my colleagues. So if there's just a bus incident and we need to call parents, I can take a list of students, share that link within Chatfinder and say, hey, can you pull up this list and start calling parents from it. So really, really cool tools integrated in here within your platform.
And remember, you don't create a student file, export it to Excel, then email that. Don't do that. That's there's a lot of data privacy there. You're not supposed to do that. We try our best to inform our clients, try not to do that. So what you do is, instead of saying these 30 kids, we could say, well, these 30 kids, you could send a link through Chatfinder to someone else. They tap on it, and then it brings up those 30 kids. So a lot safer. It's a link to, and now obviously they have to have access to that product. So just keep that in mind. Don't export and email it, because there's a lot of data in there, and that's data privacy is something that we take it very serious.
We've got one last piece here I think that we want to make sure to cover, which is a big Wayfinder update that we have coming out. We're really excited about this. We think it's going to make Wayfinder so much easier for drivers to use. Drivers can now select multiple trips. So for those districts that are running multiple tiers in the morning and afternoon, a driver can say, hey, I need trip 1, 2, and 3. Got it. Let's hit the road. And it's going to navigate them from trip 1 to trip 2 to trip 3. You can reset trips, and we've got a really simplified interface. Tony, I think this is one that we've got another video here to kind of run through.
Let's run that video then, Bridget. While it's going here, by the way, navigation, just in the month of March, we had 100,000 trips were navigated in March alone. So there's a lot going on. Of course, with this right here, you could have our version. This is now multiple versions that you could pick multiple trips. As a driver, you only see your trips. That way, if you want to do all 3 in the morning because you're doing tier 1, 2, and 3, it's all contiguous, so it just keeps going. And so those have been some of the feedback we got from all of you.
There's more in that pre-navigation.
Sound was cool, but I think we could talk it over is okay, Zach.
I think it is. Sometimes, like I said, we've gotten that feedback that we turn people's offices into a party. So we'll keep it a little bit more low key on this birthday. But yeah, you can see some of the interfaces here are just like the interfaces you see in Plus too, right? With the color-coded trips, the expanding out the trips to see students, stops, and you can make these changes on the fly. So if the driver needs to, a driver can skip a stop, add a student, add a stop right there from the pre-navigation. That way, when they hit the road, they're going to have accurate information for them.
By the way, as you're doing this, you're talking about drivers. Over almost 3,000 unique drivers have used this product in the month of March. Clearly, it's growing. I'd like to know how big that is, how many staff, how many drivers all of our clients are made up, but it's getting there, right? That means they didn't have a piece of paper in front of them. They didn't have a clipboard. They're using this product while they're driving around, so it's pretty cool.
So, Tony, I think we're coming up on time here. One piece that we can't forget mentioning here is a big change that we have coming to Stopfinder, though. Districts have been asking for this for so long. They wanted ETA. We just didn't think there was a reliable way. There's so many changes happening on the road day to day. I'm adding routes, I'm moving routes. How are you able to provide an accurate ETA of where the bus is going to be each day? But we really think we've solved this. Tying it into Wayfinder, we can now give parents through Stopfinder an accurate ETA of that bus, because it says not only where's the bus right now, what is the trip's plan, but also what changes has the driver made, right?
And Zach, it also works for multi-tier. So in other words, you could set the window. So in other words, if I'm on second tier, right, I could even be on Stopfinder. It could actually tell me that you are 55 minutes away because it's still working on tier 1, knowing that in Wayfinder, the driver selected all 3. Now you can literally say, I'm 55 minutes away based on the tiers. So yeah, ETA is amazing. So can't wait to get your feedback on that.
Yeah.
Yep.
One piece that we didn't talk about today, if anyone was here to hear about it, was Service Finder. Good news for you. Next week, the same time, Thursday, 11:30, we're going to be doing a webinar, Tony and I. So please sign up for that webinar. We'll be emailing you. We'll be having it up on the website. Come join us so that you can dig into our new Service Finder product that we're releasing.
That's great. We have a lot of questions here. So some of them I was answering as I was going, and there's some sticky notes, and I think we got them all here. Will school get an alert when the bus arrives? Right. That's definitely that. So they could get those alerts. And what program is needed for that? You definitely need GPS. But talk to your account executive about what you're trying to accomplish. So we have a lot of GPS options, and now Wayfinder has also became another GPS way to get that. So tons of things.
Well, as usual, this thing went by really fast. It always does, Tony, doesn't it? It's crazy how fast it is.
I know.
I want to say one thing. I'm just going to talk over this slide real quickly. If you had a question and you did not get it answered, please email getplus@transfinder.com. Just write question from the webinar. Get, G-E-T, plus @transfinder.com, and say question in the subject line, and I promise you someone will get back to you with an answer to your question. I want to thank our panelists first and foremost. Thank you so much. I was going to go around the horn, but we ran out of time. But thank you so much for your stories, and thank you for just all the preparation. It takes a lot of work to put this together, and I know you're all very busy. Thanks for all the attendees, and I just want to invite people again to come to the Service Finder. It's going to be next week. That's going to be a good one, and that's really important. A lot of changes in Service Finder. As they used to say, was it Buick? It's not your father's Buick. Is that what is that the
Your
old saying?
father's, it's like your grandfather or
Isn't that
father?
your
I don't know.
grandfather's? So
It's grandfather, right?
it's a completely different product, really. So again, thanks everybody, and have a great rest of your day.
I hope you're filling out that form as a Formfinder form. Maybe you want to go back that way while we're just go ahead and you haven't used your phone there. It's a QR code that was generated right out of Formfinder. Please, we love your feedback. If you can, fill that out for us. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Have a great day.
Okay.